Joan Rivers said that Michelle Obama was a man before she died.
Was that a joke? I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, but the way she said it wasn't like jokey. She was like, oh, come on, everybody knows Michelle Obama's the man.
Michelle Obama surprised fans on our new podcast by saying her pet peeve about her husband is that he's chronically late. For example, we're still waiting on him to admit he's from Kenya. And as for Barack's pet peeve about Michelle, he's mad that she keeps leaving the toilet seat up. When she cleans it. When she cleans it.
The real question isn't whether Michelle Obama is untouchable, it's how Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld managed to dismantle her polished image without even trying. One moment, she's the nation's beloved book club queen. The next, she's ducking Rogan's blunt critiques and Gutfeld's razor-sharp one-liners like it's rhetorical dodgeball in the White House gym. They didn't just poke holes in her legacy, they shredded it and wrapped it in sarcasm. What did they expose that made Michelle go silent? This one's messier than her school lunch program backlash.
Joe Rogan is calling out Oprah and Michelle Obama for hypocritical speeches at the DNC. Watch.
She's up there talking about income inequality. Like, hey, lady.
Yeah, I know.
You're rich as Like, how is that equal? And also, when Michelle Obama was saying, you know, I think she was saying her mother or grandmother was always suspicious of people who took more than they needed.
Yes.
Like,
you
are worth so much money.
Take more than they need. The Obamas have 4 mansions.
I mean, it's a bunch of rich people talking about rich.
Michelle Obama once tried to convince a generation that school lunches of wilted spinach and quinoa mush were a culinary revolution, a taste bud uprising led by soggy kale and mystery lentils. That wasn't a health plan. It was a flavor war. Crime. Yet she marched out with salad tongs like chickpea-fueled Normandy.
President dies, everyone in the world shows up, and she doesn't break her vacation. It's not like she doesn't have access to a jet. Something is going on. Let's speculate.
Yes, please.
It's either surgery.
Oh.
That was my least controversial thing.
Depends what kind of surgery.
She will not sit close to the dictator. And by that, I don't mean Hillary, I mean Donald Trump. Or there's trouble in paradise between Barack and Michelle. I've heard things. I'm not going to substantiate that by repeating these rumors on national TV like I just did. But I'm just saying it's very odd that she's not there.
Yeah, we should ask
Enter Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld, the unlikely duo no one asked for, but the only ones bold enough to say what others whisper over green smoothies. Michelle Obama's brand is part Pinterest slogans, part yoga pose hypocrisy, and one endless TED Talk pretending to be a legacy.
First woman president. We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty funny how she said it.
Okay, we all...
Let's get one thing straight. This isn't about hating a former first lady. It's about calling out the weaponized sanctimony of someone who turned drink water into both a moral commandment and a personality trait, as if she personally invented H2O. Meanwhile, the rest of us were just trying to stop our kids from trading celery sticks on the cafeteria black market.
Obama has openly admitted that she and Barack sleep in separate bedrooms. Here's how it works. She sleeps downstairs, and he likes men.
Greg Gutfeld, never one to skip a good political buffet, practically choked on laughter at the irony of Michelle Obama's health crusade while her parties looked like Whole Foods exploded on a White House plate. Organic? Sure. Edible? Questionable. Even beet hummus has limits. Before someone calls the cops.
Good to see everybody having a good time. The country's almost back to normal before World War III. COVID was just so strange. We lost a lot of people during COVID, and most of them are still alive. Yeah. Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a dick. I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons in Antarctica.
Then there's Joe Rogan, a man who built a podcast empire by punching sacred cows squarely in the udder so naturally. Michelle Obama's carefully curated image made her the golden calf of smug progressivism. She flexes her biceps like she's auditioning for a Marvel movie. then lectures the public on the dangers of enjoying a slice of pizza. In her utopia, joy is practically a felony. Rogan couldn't help but ask, what's the calorie count on self-righteousness? And let's not even pretend to ignore her Netflix deals. Wait, no, let's absolutely get into it. Nothing screams I'm just like you quite like signing multi-million-dollar production contracts with all the subtlety of a wrecking ball wrapped in $100 bills. Her documentary feels like a spiritual journey through her own ego, complete with slow-motion shots of her dramatically walking through crowds like she's Moses parting a sea of peasants. Enter Greg Gutfeld, the snarky goblin of late night, who gleefully tears through Michelle's soft-focus FOD. Every appearance she makes feels more about the lighting than the message. Her speeches ooze motivational sludge, like a Tony Robbins seminar parked outside Whole Foods. Uplifting, maybe, but useless unless your life plan involves monogram stationery and a Fitbit.
Michelle thinks American men suck.
Let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum. If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage. To make these choices clear to the men that we love, our lives are worth more than their anger and disappointment.
What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing in the background? It's the footsteps of Barack running to vote for Trump.
And we haven't even touched on the infamous "when they go low, we go high" line, possibly the most passive-aggressive slogan in political history. Translation, we're better than you. And here's a bumper sticker to prove it. Michelle Obama has practically copyrighted Moral Superiority, sold it in hardcover, and is now pitching the audiobook in 5 languages. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan raised eyebrows like dumbbells, skeptical of her magical transformation from First Lady to self-help guru to untouchable cultural icon, all without ever answering real questions. How did we leap from school lunch lettuce campaigns to philosophical essays on finding our voice? Can we get GPS directions for that? Or do we just follow the scent of overpriced candles? Michelle's image is so meticulously manufactured it makes Barbie look like a gritty documentary. The yoga poses, the soft focus lighting, the perfectly rehearsed spontaneous laughs. It's like watching a live-action inspirational poster. Somewhere between live, laugh, love, and eat more kale. And there she is, smiling, with the quiet menace of someone who's definitely judging your grocery cart from across the aisle.
Put on Instagram, I believe, that Tim Dillon's video where he was saying that Michelle Obama should run for president. If she won, she could pull her cock out and China would just give up. I was fucking wheezing. I couldn't breathe. Big Mike.
Big Mike.
Gutfeld had a field day with Michelle Obama's transformation from First Lady to global brand ambassador of empty platitudes, practically needing a neck brace from shaking his head at her LinkedIn-level empowerment advice. Believe in yourself. Thanks. Michelle, will that cover rent? What's next? Manifest your credit score. Her fashion choices are treated like diplomatic triumphs. Breaking news: she wore a belt once and CNN lost its mind. Entire op-eds were written about a cardigan, as if she were stitching peace treaties in the Lincoln bedroom. Gutfeld asked the obvious question: when did Banana Republic become a political statement? Then there's her memoir, a book so bloated with journeys and personal truths, it could double as a yoga mat. Each page reads like a motivational speech dipped in vague trauma and aspirational Instagram captions. It's less autobiography and more hardcover lifestyle blog. Rogan reportedly had to go outside, touch grass, and rewatch Roadhouse just to feel like a man again.
They know that they're having a hard time with men.
Right.
Doesn't seem like this is the right strategy.
No.
She basically says that they're hurting women by voting for Trump.
But I think they don't understand that where it comes from in the first place is that people are sick of being told how bad they are and talked down to, and you know, the condescension doesn't work. None of what they're doing really works. I mean, use the Walls AOC live stream of them playing Madden together was supposed to be to get like dudes who like football on their side, and they did it during football.
Michelle Obama's most impressive feat might just be her ability to play the underdog while living in literal palaces. She talks about struggle from the comfort of mansions with 6-car garages, like Marie Antoinette giving a TED Talk on minimalism. Gutfeld nailed it. Her idea of adversity is probably running out of organic quinoa at Whole Foods. She branded herself as the relatable First Lady, But nothing screams down to earth like custom chandeliers, curated guest lists, and Navy SEAL-trained bodyguards. She claims she's just a mom one with a stylist team, a personal chef, and a media consultant for Instagram captions. Rogan pointed out that her public persona feels like a never-ending episode of The View, minus the mercy of commercial breaks. Every sentence is steeped in soft moralism and baked until it's beige political tofu, bland, preachy, and somehow everywhere. Her media coverage is so over the top that a sneeze becomes a defiant act of strength against patriarchal pollen. Gutfeld mocked how the press treats her like a fusion of Gandhi and Bianca. It's so glowing. It borders on suspicious. What's she hiding a carb? Rogan joked that Michelle wants to teach America health while the rest of us are still recovering. From school lunch, apple slices that tasted like packing foam. That's not inspiration, it's culinary gaslighting.
Continue to escalate for the Obamas. Hopefully they can settle it like men.
Let's be honest, Michelle Obama's greatest skill might be the illusion of doing everything while saying absolutely nothing. Her speeches are word salads with just enough croutons of meaning to convince the audience they're being fed something substantial. Meanwhile, Rogan joked, the real meal was probably served backstage by someone named Skylar in a gluten-free apron. Gutfeld reveled in dismantling the myth of Michelle as a unifying force, as if someone who sparks more debate than pineapple on pizza is somehow the secret sauce to national harmony. Her brand isn't unity. It's selective enlightenment, a lighthouse that only shines for those who already agree with her. And don't even mention her fitness goals. She glorified lunges more than the inventor of stairs, turning exercise into a political statement. If you didn't want to plank in your living room while she stared you down from the TV, you were part of the obesity crisis. Gutfeld quipped that somewhere, a donut cried itself to sleep. Rogan added that Michelle's persona is so relentlessly inspirational. It's exhausting. She's like the human equivalent of being forced into a book club you never signed up for. Every message is a teachable moment, even when all you wanted was a cheeseburger and 5 minutes of peace.
Even if they run Michelle. According to a new poll, Michelle Obama isn't as strong a Democratic candidate against former President Donald Trump as many Dems would have you believe. In a hypothetical matchup, my favorite kind, Trump wins with 47% of the vote compared to Michelle Obama's 44%. I guess some of the kids whose school lunches she ruined are finally old enough to vote. Remember that?
Even her podcast, yes. Of course, she has one feels like therapy sessions for people who've never been told no. Each episode is a warm bath of pseudo-wisdom, where the only real takeaway is that Michelle is, once again, more evolved than the rest of us. Rogan played clips and swore he could hear himself aging from the second-hand condescension. Gutfeld mocked the planned Michelle Obama library as if she were some hybrid of Mother Teresa and Oprah with superior arm tone. The only books it'll house are hers, stacked neatly beside affirmation stones and essential oils. The entrance will probably require a detox smoothie and proof of emotional vulnerability. Michelle has mastered the art of being everywhere without ever really being anywhere. Her presence is ambient. You don't choose it. It chooses you. She's the spiritual equivalent of background jazz at a farmer's market. Soothing, familiar, and vaguely manipulative. Rogan joked her perfume would smell like moral superiority and steamed broccoli, with a hint of filtered authenticity. Gutfeld added it would come in a bottle shaped like a recycled globe and be sold only to those completing her 12-week wellness challenge, becoming, but with burpees. And now, the final absurdity, rumors. She's planning a political run. After lecturing America on lunges, and living your truth, what's next? Running the country. Gutfeld laughed so hard, he nearly fell off his chair because nothing says political outsider like 16 years spent in the most powerful rooms in the world.
They're doing really works. I mean, the Walls AOC live stream of them playing Madden together was supposed to be to get like dudes who like football on their side, and they did it during football. Like, who's consulting them on this stuff?
Yeah. It's a
woman, probably, also.
It's a gay man.
So what have we learned? Michelle Obama is the queen of curated struggle, the empress of empowerment, buzzwords, and the first lady of filtered authenticity. And thanks to Rogan and Gutfeld, the glossy veneer has been peeled back, revealing not a monster, not a mastermind, but a meticulous brand manager dressed as a motivational guru, the kind who'll scold you for not loving spinach hard enough, And if all else fails, expect a new book titled Still Becoming: The Journey to Journeying, featuring 300 pages of sunrise metaphors and salad anecdotes, bonus content, an inspirational playlist, and a low-calorie dressing recipe that tastes like regret. Remember, when they go low, she goes high, but she'll charge $29.99 for the altitude. Michelle didn't just rebrand herself, she franchised it. She became the Oprah of broccoli, the Dalai Lama of dumbbells, the spiritual guru of doing the work, even if that work is just filtering selfies and name-dropping resilience. Every appearance is a masterclass in performance, carefully sculpted like those arms the media can't stop swooning over. Yet the contradictions never end, preaching simplicity while dining like a Michelin critic, championing humility while bathing in designer praise, and calling for unity while profiting from curated division. Rogan noted how she manages to sound profound while saying almost nothing, like a TED Talk about clouds. Gutfeld wasn't far behind, torching the echo chamber that trails her like a loyal poodle. It's never critique, it's worship. Not commentary, but canonization. Michelle has become a one-woman industry of sugar-coated smugness, where every anecdote is polished, every struggle conveniently relatable, and every photo shoot timed for the golden hour of moral superiority. If branding were an Olympic sport, she'd have 5 gold medals, a documentary about the journey, and a line of vegan protein bars called Authenticity Bites. And still, no one's allowed to ask, what exactly are we clapping for?